Hey guys, welcome back to the Pro League. I'm Alex Machine Richardson, she is Lauren Scott, and we are going to be going straight on into the game. We saw the pistol round, the knife round unfold. This is going to be our final game of the evening. It's time to see what SK can do. We saw them kind of hit a bit of a wall over against TSM. We've seen a whole lot from SK, of course, seeing them up against NIP as well in the second game. So this is going to be their third showing of the evening, and SK still yet to find a win yet in the Pro League.
Hopefully for their sake, it's not as much of a steamroll as we saw against NIP, because that was quite painful to watch.
TSM, yeah.
Oh god, yeah, they've been beating black and blue today, so hopefully they got a little bit of respite here. But then again, it's mousesports. We know these guys like to play a little crazy every now and then themselves as well.
Probably not as crazy as
maybe
NIP.
not to the NIP style, all right? But we'll find out, of course. So SK did win the knife round, so they got to choose to start on CT, which is going to be a benefit. NIP obviously won the knife round previously. They chose out their side. So maybe a little bit of respite here for SK to at least begin where they want to be playing, and have to wait and see if they can really come up with the goods. And of course, Mouse, off the back of quite a convincing game, I'd say, against Hellraisers, at least on one side. Yeah,
on one side, certainly. I think... yeah, we saw a very kind of CT-sided cobble is what we saw over in that side of things. But here we go. We're jumping on into the action then. We have two Zeuses in play. mousesports have certainly found a little bit of a bit of love for the new priced Zeus. 100, of course, is the new price. Going back to represent kind of the price we saw for the CS birthday celebration, which was just a little while ago. Here comes the charge, though. The T-side are just swarming towards Banana, and it is not looking too good. Mouse do manage to stabilize courtesy of Chris J and God B. And now the numbers most definitely are favoring SK. God B has a fraction of health, and he's going to be surely taken down by this crossfire generated by the CT side. But Chris J has other plans.
Yeah, Chris J was allowed the opportunity. Look at God B. He's actually going around the back of them. Chris J, though, is caught in between.
Oh
he gets Sandon down. Now Freeze caught in the heels, but both of them are so low. Chris J has made this one a real opportune moment, but God B just has to slow down Freeze for a second. He's done well here. He will go down eventually, but Chris J should be able to get a plant off. Yeah,
it's going to come down to where he chooses to position it. He's going to do it real wide in the open, enable him to maybe get himself to... Whoa, he's changed his mind. That could have been the end for Chris J. What a round from Chris. 4 frags in that round, and it looked awful. It was a 2 versus 4 at one point, and Chris J does it all for him. And mousesports start as they mean to go on 1-0.
Let's not undersell God B there. He really made that possible as well, buying time for him, you know, getting behind the other players, switching their attention. Nicely done, but still a close round. At the start, that was all SKs. And then, as you noted, there was Chris J in the mix. So, looking at this round, we can see next with the Julies, a little bit of head armor. So, T-side investing into this one, of course, and up against them, the likes of the Deagle, the CZs, the 5-7s, all coming out to play. So, SK also meaning business here. But let's see if mousesports can keep this clean. They want a nice, clean round from this one after that close first.
I mean, this is one of those scary ones where CT side has plenty of close quarter angles they can hold with these armored pistols and even floating deagles. Yes, we're now going to be seeing this one. Conflict just takes a little bit of a beating, but Mouse are starting to orientate themselves towards A. Freeze and Sandon were waiting in the sidelines.
Yeah, they are looking at it. And Sandon, joined by Freeze, going to be really on the front lines. Good bit of damage, at least getting the information towards Nico. This has allowed Mouse to get very close here. Sandon's going to get taken down by Nico. Freeze is still in library, but at the moment, Mouse have complete control of A side. I don't think they know it yet. They're still being very, very cautious about this. Of course, they don't want to lose out on these guns or, you know, die at this point, especially to a team who's got those 5-7s. But they do have complete control of A. God B, so cautious, so careful. And SK truly locked out here.
Yeah, and I mean, Mouse have... It's kind of crazy how they've just completely seized control of a bomb site with just the 1 frag. Just by positioning and use of their smokes and nades, they managed to walk on into that site and get the bomb down. I mean, credit where it's due to SK for managing to preserve and make that call as soon as they did to keep all or majority of their investment into this round safe. But still, mousesports pick up the second with just 1 frag. It's pretty crazy to see a round completed with just 1 body bag, and actually that may very well change if Dennis continues down this path.
4 players pretty much in this instance. This is hiding away. There we go. Asilian will find him. That's a gun at least they're going to recover. And to be fair, one of the rifles too. So surprised Asilian was the one leading the charge on that. And actually, what?
Ooh.
What?
What? Oh wow! Asilian was holding the angle like a hawk, and he ended up just taking down his teammate. So that's Kevlar gone. What the? I mean, that's unforgivable.
I'd be really mad at that.
But that's awful. That's actually going to be a really costly mistake from ESEA.
Yeah, it will be. He's going to be able to keep at least the Galil, I guess, but that's another player without armor on the battlefield at this point and on the map. But we've seen this before. Now, SK stack 4 players out, leave Cadian the kind of solo man towards A, whether or not he's just there to hear towards Banana or if he plays it differently. This is something that actually worked out fairly well for SK in previous games, especially against NiP. I'm not sure if it's going to have the same effect here. Mouse, definitely a little more cautious, not throwing caution to the wind like we saw the NiP boys do, so this could be a little bit tougher to really sell. Here we go. Cadian goes for that peek, gets overrun, and I think if they see this Cadian they've taken down, they're going to speed up a little bit here. They know what the plan is. Yeah,
and probably very well may see the same thing again from SK, just kind of creating crossfires over on B while the bomb goes down at A. Mouse, of course, a little cautious. They are going to be checking their corners, and I think they're going to start piecing this one together rather quickly.
Yeah, they know by now.
Everything is clear. And I think SK, for the second time running, are just going to have a little chat, have a team chat, cup of tea, and wait for this all to blow over.
Sure, all the dead quotes.
It wasn't really. Cup of tea instead of a pint. I kind of mixed it up a bit.
Yeah, true, you did. I'm sorry. I shouldn't throw you in.
But that is going to be the third for mousesports, and I think they're going to really go hunting. A little more of a hunting party this time. It's Dennis and Nico. Dennis has a friend this time. And actually, oof, they managed to get freeze pretty low. He's the one unarmored, though.
Thanks to that previous round, of course. And, oh, Dennis this time checking that corner. Nice little angle to peek it from. They really are trying to hunt these guys down. They don't want to give them any sort of rein towards that third round, having a little bit more to work with. Excuse me, fourth round. But caution to the wind will come in. Nico's going to find freeze. Config does find 2 at least. And the Cillian will find next. So,
wow, costly.
Put it this way, though, they weren't able to retrieve any of the weapons that were dropped. So it's not the worst it could have been, but SK now able to buy up here.
So first real test then after that initial pistol. We are going to be seeing an AWP in play as Cadian is going to be the one wielding that. Let's see if he goes for that early peek. Is he going to challenge out in middle? Assuming there isn't going to be the Chris J AWP, which there most definitely isn't, considering how mousesports economy currently sits. 2 SMGs still in play. It's going to be the UMP and the P90 still making an appearance. Now, Config and ESEA are going to be the B players. I feel like that has changed since we last saw SK over on Inferno.
Let's see how they play this one. Chris J has got that P90, so he's looking to kind of clear the close angles. Config's actually in a much better position than him, but Chris J just walks in regardless, crouching down to just hide away from first box. ESEA's in the smoke, Config still by coils, and Chris J being meticulous with this one, going to put it down by new box. But he's ahead of those flashes, ahead of the curve, but he doesn't realize that ESEA just pushed straight through that smoke, got in towards pit, and Config gonna have to take a little bit of damage to get himself into a position they may not expect here. And Mao's actually struggling to make their way towards the site.
This is good from SK. They've delayed them so well with the use of their flashes. Cadian, unforgivable, misses a second. That's going to really cost Mouse, but somehow God B is the one connecting the shots. Cadian most definitely is not. And it is going to be a 4 versus 3. And now Mouse have another, what looks like another freebie of a round. Nico spraying through wildly through the smoke to try and find Sandon, but I think he's just going to be desperately trying to keep that rifle and Kevlar safe as he does back away. And SK, an all too familiar story for them, as they're forced to just look towards the next round with a very shaken up buy.
And I can imagine Cadian's kicking himself in that one as well.
100%.
Bearing in mind that Config as well didn't land his shot either, and 2 of them messing up is just, you know, a little bit too far. You're not going to recover. And oh, Sandon. Oh, he's going to get one. Nico's not going to allow him to get away. And now Freeze will pick up another. So they're getting some decent trades here, but SK just still struggling to hold off what Mouse are bringing. Bearing in mind, Chris J kind of just snuck under the view of, I think it was Config playing on those coils, and then, you know, it all fell off the back of that. But 4-0, mousesports picking up that first gun round, and Chris J with 8k now. Is he going to go for the AWP or back to the rifle?
He's rifling. I think he's doesn't feel the need to. I think he's much more proficient with the CT side AWPing over on Inferno. This time, though, we're going to be seeing what the kind of interesting pickup. We see limited nades, especially for Sandon and Cadian, and then just the Mag 7 for Sandon as well. So let's see what if SK can do anything with this. Let's not forget that they found most success over on Inferno with pistols just last time.
But Config just got flashed into this corner. Nice little pop flash comes back. That's going to blind one of them. Config couldn't choose his targets, just completely fluffing his lines.
Yeah, again, that is not cool at this point. ESEA is going to try and pick up where he left off. Next, gets one down to 17. Rather, he gets down to 17 is what I was trying to say. And now SK, again, always forced to play from a deficit. Losing men early, it's just not really the right way to structure your defense. You want to be forcing Mouse to come to you. At this point, though, you have to play the numbers game, and they have done it relatively well so far. 3 of the 4 are ready on A.
Yeah, but Mouse are going into the remaining players, at least, you know, the ones that haven't been too tagged up that, sure, okay, one's got a mag 7, but, you know, this could be dangerous. No one actually rotating off of A towards B. Next, not selling it all that well. God B getting close with Chris J. Smoke towards CT Arch comes in. Kadian edging ever closer. Deeper smoke to follow off the back. He's going to get caught out, though. Nico just pins him to the wall. And now they could wrap towards B here. Asilian's going to be in transit, so they could catch him off guard. Sandon hold him close towards Quad. Freeze tucked in towards Pit, but at the moment, T-Side just swarming the side. Chris J makes it around, but there's Asilian finally getting to this game, but out on the balcony, it's Dennis. There's Nico as well. It's down to one man, Sandon, and the numbers game just did not favor SK.
Yeah, Sandon not standing up to the test. As that's going to be another 4 mousesports. Lauren's pulling funny faces. That wasn't necessarily intentional, that one.
That's a lie, it was.
Sandon standing. Sandon standing? I don't know.
It was the way you pronounced it, I think, more than anything. Yeah.
Dropped a letter or two. But no, again, SK yet to get off the start. And it does just feel like a little bit of the word outclassed, I feel like, needs to be used here. Players missing shots that they cannot afford to if they want to be picking up wins against the Pro League teams. You know, these are the cream of the crop of the European CSGO scene. And at this point, the newest additions, I mean, they were the best team in the Premier. They were, you know, the team that justifiably did get promoted. And of course, we had to say goodbye to Flipside Tactics in their place. And SK, they need to start justifying why they have this spot now.
As you said, there's always going to be at least one whipping boy within this. Sadly, for now, it's SK. Until they can start getting themselves back together with those lineup changes coming in so recently, it's still going to be a little while. He was such an important player, but Kadian looking for the chance there towards Apps. And, well, Free's going to just walk into the trap of Nico, just waiting for him at the top. And already you can see SK going to struggle into this round. The opportunity they had was on B, and Asilian at least will find Chris J, but doesn't retrieve the gun.
Yeah, and that Molly's probably going to be the end of him, if not Nex's bullets, and it does bite the dust. Then Sandon and Kadian looking to just finally take a weapon or something away, and it does look like Sandon's going to be able to do just that. But too much more. 30 seconds on the clock, and actually does land a pretty good tag. Kadian and Sandon, they're going to be running out of bullets, though, on these CZs. Kadian finds the head of Dennis. And what on earth just happened? Nex is now down. Now all onto God B, as Kadian is...
What the hell did you just do?
Suicide dives into the flames. He is going to be kicking himself. First he was missing shots. Now he's just committing suicide in the molly. And now God B and Sandon. Sandon is forced to pick up where Kadian left off. And for some unknown reason, Sandon's knife is signed by Kadian.
Maybe just a really big fan. Sandon edging in towards us. He's going to get a glimpse here. Can he make up for the mistake we saw coming out? And just around the corner, smart play from God B. What a man to be up against in these 1v1s. No armor as well. It's time for Sandon to make a run for it. God B knows that he's probably going to go down with this ship, but already played it so well to this point. He might just be able to escape. And he does. 23 HP left towards him. mousesports again with a round on the board.
Kadian. I mean, what was that play? He was convinced he was getting like hunted like a dog. He flashed away. He was trying to just dart into cover, but that cover was cooking. That's going to be, I mean, this is going to be tough for SK. Losing so many games in a row, you know. We can see it again here. So where, I mean, he was right that he was getting hunted. He had Gobby straight behind him, but, I mean, face it, right?
He probably just thought that he had more time than he did on, or at least less time left on the molly or more HP. So he's trying to get into it.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
I was curious what you were trying to say there, if I'm honest. I was like,
face it and fight, but I don't think he had any bullets left. I mean, he picked up 3 kills. He definitely did a fantastic job there, but no, SK still yet to get off that starting mark.
Sandon's going to be on the receiving end here.
Good.
He's in a good spot. He gets the spray towards one. Sandon! Great little bit of play. Chris J and Dennis go down. SK finally get control of this. First time we've seen a real Apps presence coming out from the mousesports side, and so far it's been fairly squashed. And Sandon again, that's 3 for him this round. Perfect positioning pays off. Asilian supporting as God B tried to assist, but now Nex tucked in towards CT. She's in that little cubby corner, but he can only do so much here. 8 HP is so little. But can he get any guns away? SK edging closer. Kadian takes a peek. Shoulder peeks it out. Nex shouldn't get this shot up, but Kadian, he's terrified of this. Finally gets the shot. First round on the board.
right in the nick of time. They needed that then. That's going to be the first then on the board from SK. Going to try to get some building blocks going. But, I mean, talking of building blocks, 10K on the side of Mouse for God B. He's got so much money to play with that it's going to be hard to break them now back off the end of 6-round run. Orp is going to be still flowing for Cadian, despite looking like he's been very, very passive so far. This time heading over towards B, maybe feeling a little bit of extra confidence, going to go for that opening pick. Does look like he's going to be doing that, and that's something we haven't seen too much of from Cadian. Does get flashed in. Oh, he's holding the perfect angle. There is going to be a man just by the pillar. It's Nex, who's lying in wait. And looks like he very well may provide Cadian a much-needed opening frag. Catches a glimpse of one. Just jump across as he just realizes this may be time to get a hell out of there. Does hightails it out, and still no bullets exchanged. Yeah,
nicely done. Nex was about to be set up to take that shot pretty much, and Cadian not outstaying his welcome, which is a smart thing to do. You don't want to give these guys an opportunity to take you down early on. So while that happened, though, mousesports have been edging ever closer towards this A site. And in the app, Sandon, again, pivotal play from this man.
Yeah, and flashed in very nicely by his teammate as well. Good work, good synergy from Asilian and Sandon now, as the numbers do stack up against the T side. But looking to change that is Chris J pushing on through. You can see he's made his way through library. There's 2 smokes there, so he's basically locked out. Unless he wants to choose to push through, or he has to play the waiting game. Backed up by Godby as well, as Mouse again seems to be given a whole lot of freedom on this site.
Where's Godby going to take that bomb? That's what I'm curious about here. Chris J has found free. Sicilian, though, takes the battle in towards quad, but loses out in the end. But it's Cadian with a great double coming in, denying that threat from Nex and Godby as Sandon will close down. And, well, you've got to say, at the moment, Sandon has been outstanding these last couple of rounds.
Yeah, truly he has. Same position, using balcony very, very efficiently. He does get flashed in as well by his teammate, which is always good to see. SK, a little bit of extra synergy going on there. The communication starting to find a good pace. And now, though, Mouse are going to be forced onto the Tech 9s. Only 2 Kevlars to be seen. The helmet as well for Nico. And SK looking to pick up a 3rd in a row here. As Cadian, for the first time in the game, does cast his eyes down middle. Nothing going to come of it, though, but that does give them intel, perhaps suggesting an alt mid push.
Yeah, and I like this Nico there with the AK. Let's see if he can get this one started. Maybe just the shots from God B, trying to give away the game a little, saying, hey guys, we only have Tech 9s, no rifles. Cadian eyes trained here, not getting too aggressive. Looks like it's going to be a quick play maybe towards quad, not too sure where they're going to go towards. And Cadian's nade should do a good bit of damage. Oof. It does, that's great. Chris J down low, Next down low. Fantastic stuff, Freeze follows it up. Now, Cadian needs to play this properly. Backing away well, playing it smart, making Mouse come to him, and then taking the shot. But no, Dennis comes in, takes him down. And now just Nico left alive. He does have the rifle, and it is still Nico.
Yeah, he hit a fantastic shot as well there on towards Freeze. Could get a second here as well. Suddenly a 1v4 is down to 2. Looking to pull his team from the brink, as he was the only one with the rifle at the start, and he's looking to justify exactly why that decision was made.
He knows these 2 players have been B players as well. He knows that they've taken down the A threat, so where are the last 2 remaining players going to be? Asilian, watching over the bomb. Config as well, taking his time. Asilian actually not actively watching it too much. He's probably holding a slither almost from Speedway, and actually Asilian starting to doubt himself. And there's 20 seconds and a chance for Nico here. He's got a really good shot. This Config, though, will be the one coming through apps. He's the one who would find him. But Nico having to take so much time here to check all of this. And now Nico can make it back around. Let's see if he's going to go for the safe plant away from apps. He's got a couple of seconds left.
Oh,
and there should be a shot coming in for Config. What are you doing, Config? He's given Nico a chance.
He most definitely has. 36 points of health to work with, and he has a good idea of at least where one of them is. He's expecting Asilian a lot earlier than he was. Asilian, of course, second around on B. This could happen now. It could very well be a 1 versus 4. Asilian standing in his way. Fortunately connects through the box, and Asilian manages to pull SK back, but that, good God, did that get out of hand fast.
Why would you ever give that man a chance like that?
From Config, wow, maybe he wasn't expecting, didn't quite register what he had seen when he first pushed out a balcony?
Because these days you see, excuse me, you see the full plan and you can see the animation changing when it gets towards the end of it. But it's surprising that he didn't even look towards that, maybe just not, registering yet, maybe not quite keeping eyes on that one. So that could be a factor, but that was really sloppy play. And if there's any play you want to, you don't want to give an opportunity like that to, it's going to be Nico. He's a man who can. So anyway, 3-6. SK just about bringing it back in from the brink. And looking at this, Nico is 11-7, bearing in mind. No one else is all that close to him, but that was a big round from him before. And looking for a good starting opportunity into this one. This time, let's remember, Mouse have a lot more utility to work with. Cadian's back to B. This could mean a little bit of an easier ride here.
Yeah, absolutely could. Cadian, again with the AWP on towards CT Arch. Backing away from that one. as not too sure how much more they're going to be finding here on the A side, considering Sandon is still not being given anything in apps.
But let's remember, Mouse really aren't selling these Bs. Asilian and Config have been here pretty much the whole time. They're, you know,
relentless, yeah.
Yeah, and they're never taking them away from it, so they're just maybe going for the straight-up fight of the 3v, maybe 4 if they can get there. But Cadian's been reading it well. I say it was a B earlier on. My brain is going to absolute mush, but he's going to adjust around towards Arch. Good play from him, reading the pacing well. Going to catch up Chris J as he tries to make the peek around. And Next just really isn't selling this, and really SK can just sit here and go, all right, well, if you're just going to walk at us, sure, we'll get these crossfires set up and you can come in at the last minute possible. That's fine by me. Molly's going to slow him down further. And again, it's waiting time for Mouse.
Yeah, that's all their smokes and Molly's expended, though. It's just going to be the flashes left for SK, and Mouse in a similar predicament, really. Just the flashbangs that's going to enable them to get in towards that site now. As here comes the frags. Nico finds his 12th frag already of the game. He is going to be up on that balcony area, but I think Cadian and Freeze could pick this one up together. It's just a second out of reach, and it's not going to be happening as Godby swings and hits 2, as now it's going to be Config and Asilian who have to try and piece this one back together.
And Freeze is going to be gutted. He was waiting so long, trying to hold off on taking that shot towards balcony to stop the bomb plant, but that still comes in. So now Next wins out. No! Asilian somehow breaks through towards quad. This is back to a 2v2. Dennis in a great spot, though. Will deny it. He gets the second as well towards Config. And really, for SK, they shouldn't have lost out on that.
Another round that looked winnable for SK. It's been kind of becoming more and more of a familiar story that SK do have these opportunities presented with them, but varying factors seem to get in their way. And a team that actually, you know, the point we were making was that they do show good promise in terms of fragging. This hasn't been the case, actually, with a couple of players. Cajun missing shots he shouldn't sometimes, and now 3-7. mousesports looking to have a very good T-half, and to change that is Caden. Go for the fast peek. He did catch a glimpse of an arm, does take down Next early and get away safe.
Finally, them getting the opening frag in a really good position. Knowing Next is down means that, well, Next has been the one soloing out on that banana side of things. So now Mouse are kind of out of options here. They've been depending on Nico to get these opening shots, and it has been working out, bearing in mind. But it eventually will have to run to an end. But let's find out if they can depend on it once again here. As Sandon going to be the man waiting at the door, as he is going to start making an active peek.
So the boys from the T side have hit a bit of a slowdown now, as Chris J needs to find something at the end of that smoke. He's the one at the front. He's the one at the forefront of the push. The arrowhead trying to pierce into that B site, and he has found success with the P90 crawl before, which we saw not too long ago. Now it's going to be Asilian then, who's about to be tested. Here comes Mouse, and the flashes and mollies are thrown out. Not going to be checking oranges, though. Great angle held by Asilian. Takes down Dennis. Looking to find a second as well as he's darting through. There's great support system in place with all of these nades. Config takes the double, and the B players who've been so vigilant, so refusing to move over on B. And finally, when they are tested, they prove just why they are on that site.
Yeah, beautiful crossfire, and it just wasn't really checked. That's the biggest thing. No one really walked into it and, you know, checked out these angles. No one cleared it with the mollies. They dedicated those to slightly further back position, so towards the new box and such, but it just didn't work out for them in the end, Mouse. And now look at them. They're a little strapped for cash here. 2K currently around on that, so P250's Tech 9's being purchased.
Now, AWP from Caden. He's watching the perfect angle to catch a glimpse. Oh my god! He does find Christian. I thought he missed it for some unknown reason, as he is going to find the second as well. So the pistols from Mouse are looking to hit a bit of a brick wall, which is fortunate because SK are in dire need of more rounds here on the CT side of Inferno. 7 rounds in a row it was. Excuse me, 6 rounds in a row for Mouse. And now SK is starting to climb way back, as their money did get reset from the previous round.
Yeah, it did. So they should be able to convert this. There shouldn't be any chance here for Mouse. They definitely shouldn't lose out on players. There we go. Config does get saved by Asilian. And as you mentioned, SK bringing this one back a little. All right, so coming into this one, Mouse still not in a great shape for buying into this 3.7. Yeah, not perfect. Okay, so yeah, we're going for the Tech 9 purchase here. Into this one. Smokes, smokes and flashes with a little bit of armor to boot. Let's see what they can bring. They've not really had much luck with these sort of rounds, and it looks like they're doing the smokes coming out early on there. It's going to be Asilian dropping that one through over towards Banana, allowing Config to solo it. And actually, this is a great read here. SK stacking out the correct site.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do actually find a whole lot of success. mousesports, of course, just that body armor, meaning that head is going to be extra squishy coming up against these M4s. Next, and Dennis, of course, keeping that helmet in mind. And actually, Mouse, despite this early, kind of rather aggressive positioning, they have hit the standstill towards middle, waiting for SK to overextend, which I do not think is something that they plan on doing.
No, they know what they're up against. They have to play to almost a stone nature, but Cadian goes looking. He didn't expect mid to be completely covered then. He was checking for the little side corner, but Sandon's holding on, but he gets eventually overtaken, overran. Cadian has to do better now. He has to make up for that peak. There we go, makes his way in eventually.
24 bullets later.
Yeah. Really strange stuff from Cadian, then just kind of over-checking the corner pretty much, kind of expecting maybe a player would slip through at some point when he maybe turned his attention away. But let's remember, SK brought this back, but then again, this is a very good T-side from Mouse.
Very, very nice to see both teams fragging. Cillian is someone that we haven't really mentioned enough, considering just how prolific he has been, not only on the B side, but also on his rotates to A. He's been able to find frags that others haven't, you know, namely Config. As he's going to be actually over towards A. Config left to his own devices on B this time. They've kind of been taking it in turns to leave one man over on towards B. But this is very, again, same kind of thing from Mouse. Stacking up through middle, getting themselves kind of nearby apps. And look at Chris J's aggressive peak. The glass cannon gets experiences a little bit of the heat, down to 36.
Yeah, Sandon will actually even catch out Dennis as well. So SK really controlling this perfectly. You've got Freeze as well sitting close in case Nico went for a walk, which he did straight up mid. And one by one, Mouse are trying to make plays off of this. And Chris J with no armor as well, walking straight into that molly, just didn't allow for much. And it seems that when the going gets tough, mousesports eventually give Chris J the op looking for an opener, but this time really not finding it. He's going to have to once again look for a lot more into this round. There is only 2 players at least dedicated towards the A side. Cillian is holding that back play towards the arch if it was required and if they do go CT side, but at the moment, 36 seconds left. Playing this quite calmly. Chris J did indeed find Freeze. That'll make it easy though for Cillian. And now on the other side of that smoke, Sandon will wait. Next does catch out Cillian. Sandon now has to be where the buck stops, but no, he fluffs the shot. Godby gets it again with a very imperative play, but it's a 2v2. And bearing in mind, Cadian's still alive, they've got to be able to think they can do this here.
Absolutely. No nades really, just Godby's got a flash and a HE to try and keep this site safe. Nothing to kind of remove any threat from the CT side. Config pushes in first. One by one they go, and one by one they fall. Godby and Nex picking them up, and that's going to be 6-8 then. As mousesports win around, they really, again, SK kind of throwing it away. Yeah,
I'm surprised it was even allowed to happen like that. You've got to be landing these shots. Allowing Godby the chance is never going to work out well. But the economy wasn't perfect then in the end for Mouse. Dennis is going to be very light here. Almost no utility, actually none. But Krishay will at least get the AWP with full utility. Let's see if he can do something with it. His opening play again towards the later stages of that round in towards A were very important. But then again, it's Cadian now peeking down towards Banana. Not sure if he got a glimpse then, but remember last time Godby baited out the shot there for Next before. Not going to do it again. I think they might have caught a glimpse.
Yeah, they've at least got a good understanding of where Cadian likes to position himself. It's either a peek middle or it's a push down B. In fact, yeah, 3 plays, and then he holds CT Arch as well. So, bullets have been exchanged. Mouse getting a little bit worse for wear off that one. Next and Godby down into the 70s. But it does feel like SK have got a real hope and prayer that is coming towards A, because Config, he's pushed up B, he's trying to gather as much info as he can. And the rest of the team are all over on that A site.
Yeah, they consistently do this. They have faith that Config can at least hold it long enough they could rotate a player off, but see if they're going to notice where these players are. You've basically just got Cillian coming back over, so Freeze there as well. But it's going to be Cadian and Sandon, the first 2 to make contact on this, but Mao's not having any of this one. Nico's pushed up, and he's maybe having an idea that it's a bit weird. They're playing very passive here. They're playing very deep in the site. Maybe they want us to commit. And actually, Cadian, good little flash catches him out. Cadian now needs to check that. He needs to land that shot as well. You don't want to give Nico the chance. And as this happens, while it all builds, while Nico plays the game, you can see that mousesports are building towards B. Cadian's read it well, though. He's now joined Config. He has to land the shot this time.
Next is ahead of the molly, though, and it's going to really be the end of Cadian now. All onto Config. He's been waiting around on B and can't find too much. Took Chris J down, but that's all. And now Sandon and Freeze, both rotating from A. They've got a lot of ground to cover, and they need this round. Of course, it is the last round of the half. They're going to put everything into this. Now, They're almost waiting for each other. Sandan's taking it slow, though. He's anticipating a push-up banana in the process. Next takes down his compadre. No hope in hell now for Sandan, as 3 Mouse members just going to hold angles and watch the 9th round go on the board for them. Unless something magical happens from Sandan, he's going to be toyed with and is eventually going to go down. So mousesports end the half 9-6, going into their CT half on Inferno. Yeah,
that was... I think swings and roundabouts a little bit. Mousesports overall looking substantially better, and the rounds they got on the T side were quite convincing. There was a couple of times we saw it swing around back into the favor of SK. I think it was just a couple of times they read it well, or individuals had a very impressive round. But I think overall you still got to say that Mousesports look completely more in control of this game so far, and I'm excited to see their CT side. Yeah, no, me too. I actually have a real passion, and I really like watching Chris J on a CT side of Inferno. He's really a good player to watch, to keep your eye on. So, as well as kind of a couple of question marks seeing how Nico plays his CT side over Inferno. So for the mousesports side of things, those are my 2 individuals that I'm a little excited to see. And over on the side of SK, the fact that Cadian's still at the top of the scoreboard, despite, we've caught him a couple of times being a little... questionable. That's a nice way to put it. Yeah, so the fact that he's at the top of the scoreboard, I mean, it speaks volumes for how SK are currently faring. Config did a couple of good plays over towards B, but this reliance on this 4-1 stack in order to find success at A is another problem I'm sure SK can address later down the line. It does feel like we're going to be going into our second half in our final game of the Pro League very soon. Yeah, and I've got to say, for example, Sandan had... It was individuals getting their rounds on the board for me a lot of the time, SK. We used to remember Sandan playing on towards that balcony as they made the play through there. I think he picked up 3 in that round. We've seen a good couple of these moments really going their way when the individuals are able to do it, like Config on B. But it's been a bit of a scarce reality for them where they've had that full kind of lockdown on their CT side on this one. So I'm kind of curious to see what they can bring together on their T side, considering what happened against NIP. They just got bullied around the map. It was either Forest being super confident, playing down mid, getting someone to watch mid from after they nade it, maybe get right going down, and then he's watching second mid, corralling them into him. So these things, if they come back out again, I don't know what we're going to see, but I don't think we got the true display of what SK can bring on their T sides in that previous game. Yeah, no, not at all. I think you kind of raised a good point there, is because very rarely, so let me just think about what SK presented on CT side Inferno on B. It was either Config and a Cillian, or it was Config on his own with a 4-stack A, and then the final option was Cadian goes for a fast peek, pushes down sometimes gets the frag, sometimes doesn't. Rarely died, but then usually would rotate back to A. So like those are your 3. That's nothing in comparison to what you were highlighting, NIP's strat where it had like 2 mollies, a flash, a deep smoke, 2 people pushing down banana. All of these, like it's an extra avenue that can be exploited by a CT side. I think this is just something that you were highlighting at the start of the day, that it's very apparent that SK do not have a dedicated in-game leader currently. Well, really, I mean, Cadian has taken the helm. He's taken the role, but obviously losing out on their previous in-game leader or removing him from said lineup, it's going to affect them in the way they play for a little while. I can imagine they'll negate it eventually, but this early on, you're going to see flaws in how they're playing, and I think this is somewhat of a telling sign to a degree. They don't have so much control, especially when Cadian's going to be in-game leading. He's also, sometimes quite an imperative factor, considering he was top fragging throughout a lot of this for that side. If he's having to think about the game as well and think of it in a more strategic manner, it could take a little away from him as that sort of player. I mean, there's no doubt that that's a factor. You look as far as what happened over with NIP, where actually Exist took a short break. We've had Get Right step in as the in-game leader because he wanted a break from in-game leading. The same happened with Fnatic as well. Falusha was calling for a while instead of Pronax. So like there is definitely that stress where sometimes in-game leaders just need a break. They need to not be fragging and calling, can focus just on one of them. And it's definitely something that's worth consideration. As we are going to be going back on then into our second half of our final game of the day for the ESL ESEA Pro League. We are not going to be seeing too many Zeus. Just the one for Chris J this time, as it's definitely something Mouse want to make happen. Yeah, and I wonder if this is going to end up being possibly a play towards B. No, they're going to wait it out here. I was hoping maybe Dennis would push a little further down, maybe take the bait that these guys were stepping rather heftily through second mid and those apps, but SK looking like they want to commit to this. God B next, and Chris J will be playing towards that A site. And it's 3 players stacked up in those apartments. So real presence coming out from SK there. A lovely little angle being held in the end by Nex as well, just over the tip of that. Should be able to at least catch a glimpse. And oh wow, all these players are starting to build up here, but they are backing away. Freeze and Cadian not sticking that close. So the pressure could still come on B, and here we go. Actually, tell a lie, everyone is piling through. Next will be the one to find Config. God B finds a Cillian, but that bomb starting to make its way towards the site. Can they stop that plant going down?
Doesn't look like it. I think the digits have been put in. It was all on to Sandon who got that one down, and now just Freeze and Sandon do remain. They are going to get hunted down, and like Mouse feel like they are a bit of a cornered beast at this point. It is going to be a little bit of an exchange from Freeze. What was that? A double! Finally, Nex does connect that frag, and it has been dealt with by Nex. That's going to be the double digits for Mouse. God, I need to get a Red Bull in me.
Sorry, you can look at those delightful...
Spider-Man, yeah.
I thought they were spaghetti.
Yeah, it's the defused spaghetti. I like that.
Defused spaghetti. It's kind of interesting, little cables. I don't know.
Honestly, I think there's it's the one thing I think a lot of people are kind of a little quite confused about. I mean, I understand the whole idea, making it clearer.
See, I think it could just be a spectator client thing, possibly.
That was actually a discussion I saw happening on Twitter as well. People were saying that like it's good for spectators; they can see what's going on, what angle it's coming from, and everything into to that ilk. But it does hinder fakes and various diffuse plays. Yeah,
we'll have to see if that actually... We haven't seen it truly affect anything in, at least I feel, today's games thus far. I don't think there was any fake plays that really suffered from it. However, there's still a couple of rounds left to play with, we never know. 10-6 though, mousesports do pick up the first round in the second half here, so getting back to that sort of good position they are in that first half, at least early on. And now for SK, Tech9's a hell of a lot of armor, of course, and a little bit of utility to work with. So it's actually a fairly respectable amount out of this. Of course, a close round and that bomb plant to boot as well, making that happen for them. So Mouse have to be cautious here.
They most definitely do. SK already starting to force the CTs on B back into the site. It's going to be Nico and Dennis who are just going to be playing a little bit more passive off the back of the MP9 display. And, I mean, Mouse are really desperate to pick up this round. You can see the investment they've put into this. 3 Molotovs as well as the full Kevlar and helmet. It does feel like SK, with those Molotovs, they're going to be looking to clear out spots on B. But
Dennis is pushed close. This could be dangerous. If they don't expect him here, he's going to actually go for the resmoke. Perfect timing. Buying more. He's going to get the perfect opportunity. He misses everything. Whoa! Dennis, are you serious right now? Please pick up that aim. And he has really fluffed this round appallingly. That is just B now open and ready for the taking. Chris J just walks in, apparently. No one checks for him to get there. Bomb is down, but he's going to be ahead of where they expect. And let's see if he can make the most of it.
To kind of give Dennis a lesson in P90 plays. Doesn't look like it's going to be happening too easily as he does get chunked down to 4. All on to the Tech9 of Freeze, and he is playing the waiting game. He's a stealthy ninja, not going to be enough as the frag and the defuse will be coming in. That
was very strange. How none of them spotted him out earlier on, but anyway, defuse is going to come in.
He was at 1 with the...
spaghetti.
With whatever that is. There's the spaghetti again.
It looks so adorable. Anyway, bomb is defused indeed, and the CD side pick up the round. That's mousesports there, and I just don't know what the hell happened to Dennis. He was playing brilliantly in the last game we saw. I was like, wow, he's holding it almost single-handedly with P90, and I was just like, oh, not great, not great.
Everyone has a bad round.
Everyone has a moment. That was his, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Dennis has been actually pretty damn good, especially in the earlier showings we saw from Mouse, of course, in their game against Hellraisers.
Yeah, that was very big.
Over on Cobble. He was really influential towards those mid doors. 11-6, though, as we do go back into the action. No armor can be seen for SK in this one. It should be Mouse's 12th, unless something goes awry.
It's going to be God B waiting this one out. He's going to find Cadian pretty early on here. Back away a little. Smoke it out. And maybe ring the alarm bell for next saying, all right, careful of Boiler. Maybe it's going to be Chris J watching that and Nex watching the mid push up. But it's going to put them on tilt at least a little bit and keep them really focused towards this.
Yeah, all going to be coming in one big Glock train. I say Glock, actually, excuse me. There is a whole lot of Tech9 and P250. As it's going to be a Cillian gets caught out, timed a little bit. The flash is perfect, though. That's going to enable them to get a little bit of a room to move. And it's going to be Sandon and Config who finds 2. Now Chris J trying to fight with their way back into the site. SK, this is exactly what happened over on B. They got access to the site, and then Mouse walked in and ended it.
But bear in mind, the bomb did not make it out of pit. That's the biggest issue here. Priest does at least get Nico down, but Chris J has none of it. He just wants to get in there, in the faces. Dennis finally picks it up with the P90. But if that bomber made it to site, if they'd been able to cross over earlier, before those players got to quad, that could have been completely different. But not the way the cookie crumbles, and there'll be another one on the board for mousesports. 12-6 now. But SK have been getting these rounds a little closer. Not ideal, but closer. Let's see what they can bring now. They've got, the real guns to work with, and we see Freeze picking up the AWP.
Yeah, we still haven't seen too much AWPing from Chris J. It's a point you made before. I mean, I have seen him. We saw him just yesterday doing it, but this time not so keen. big stack of nades thrown up towards middle, and actually looks like B is going to be the first port of call for SK, and they cost them 2 very early on off the back of like a force buy and a pistol round. Now though, they're coming in with the 3 early picks. It's not ideal.
Already, Nico, the next on the chopping board. Far from ideal there, at least in his behalf. Dennis is going to be able to back away though. They're not going to make it up there too quickly. As Freeze, Cadian, and Config still alive. But I think you pointed out the fact that SK were being so cautious, so careful, playing it quite meticulously, and then on the gun round, it's like, well, guys, why did you just... I think they thought they had an opportunity on this B side. I thought, in their eyes, maybe they're like, okay, we can catch one out here, let's get it. They all commit, and there's actually 2 waiting, so it becomes a bit of an issue. But now playing it a little slower, let's see if SK can work off this.
Chris J is casting his eyes towards that smoke. It's actually going to be Nex who does pick up the frag, and this is just becoming even more of a problem for SK. Now just 2 remain. Cadian does manage to get the AWP, but that's going to be very little of a consolation prize at this point. Next, right on top of course, he's going to try and actually does succeed in doing a whole lot of damage to both of them. Cadian now down just to 17 as his teammate down a little further. And he is not long for this world as well. 13-6 then going to be the score, and it looks like mousesports are very, very cushy here on the CT side.
And yeah, in that round, good play from Godby as well. You didn't really see him until the end, but he was already down in second mid, watching the cross back, so they knew they could stack those 3 players out towards B, make sure that SK don't catch him out by, making a play quickly back around towards A, who was already watching that rotate, so good positioning then. But still, SK back on the pistols. They've been making these rounds close, but now mousesports have so much more utility. So many smokes, flashes, mollies, everything you'd want, and that deep nade coming through, gonna catch Freeze down a little bit here, but a quick play towards Apps again. This last time was shot down by Godby eventually. I wonder if it's gonna happen again. Not gonna fall back to pit this time, but good dink comes in, 3 HP.
God, that's terrifying for Godby. Does manage to get himself to a degree of safety. Molly's going to be thrown out. SK turning up the speed a little bit, and it's looking to work out quite nicely. Sandon and Config again with the frags. Config finds his second. Now, they do get rifles, and they do have a bit of time to try and get that bomb down, but they're not using it. They're still sitting. They're convinced there's more players over on towards A, and Mouse have been gifted the time to rotate in and make that plant difficult.
Exactly. Freeze does get it down for free, but now here we go. Can he do anything with this? Just about dances around by Dennis, and Dennis will fall to his hand, but that's a 1v1. Nico up against Freeze. Freeze is already low. Freeze has to take the shot, but it's Nico to shut him down. Picking up 2 at the end. Perfect retake from him, and the defuse to follow.
Another slip up from SK, just not quite having the perfect read on numbers for the CT side, and Mouse just gifted that lovely stretch of time to get over to the site before the bomb went down. 14-6 then, as it does look like it's starting to end for SK, and we are yet to see the team pick up their first win in the Pro League, despite playing a real handful of games. We've seen 3 games from SK today. We saw them once yesterday as well, so this will be their 4th loss on the board in just 2 days.
Well, it's always going to be a trial by fire at this sort of degree, I feel. At this sort of caliber, you're always going to get it. But even in these best of ones, not finding their form here. At least not yet. There's still time. There's still very early on in the league.
Of course, yeah.
They're not, thinking they're going to win it this time, but they do feel as though they can improve.
Look at SK, though. They've got rifles, and they're charging it as if they've just got Tech 9 armor. Here they come. Cadian with 2 very quick frags, and that's going to be surely the bomb going down. Actually was the last man into the site. Freeze trailing behind is going to be able to get that bomb down, and Mouse are going to be wondering where it all went wrong. As the bomb does go down, and SK with a first real convincing victory, it seems, on the T side. And
I like it when players play like that. It's a brave move, of course, to play ahead of the smokes and the flashes, but it's something that I remember seeing Kiebi do for Dignitas, playing a little ahead of the smokes and flashes that come in standardly, just kind of depending on that kind of brute force aim that you can bring out. And he was doing it on maps like Mirage on the T side going towards A. I see Cadian finding, maybe not exactly the same sort of form, but a touch of it.
So back on the subject, while they say about the 4 losses and how much of an impact that can have, very little when you remember that every team in the Pro League plays 22 games in the season. So there's an awful lot of time for things to change for SK. It does mean that they're having a lot of experience against the teams that they're going to be coming up against throughout the league. And they have a lot to go back on. They've got 4 games, 4 best of ones they can look through, see what they can and can't change. And one thing they most definitely can do more of was that. Cadian, 2 quick entry frags. And a very quick round on the board for SK. They needed that. That's going to put 7 for them. 14 for mousesports as they battled to put 15. We saw what happened last time they got to 15, though, over against Hellraisers.
Yeah, hopefully no flashbacks for the mousesports boys, at least for their sake. But look at Nico and Dennis. Quite aggressive presence towards B early on. This before did catch out SK on their buy-up. That got 2 of the players down there, but this time they actually are committing for this as well. Sandon's going to be the one down on the end, maybe boosting up Freeze here. It looks like it, but they're already ahead of this one and expecting it. Nico had the shot, didn't land it. Freeze denies him. And there's a free gun for Dennis there. At least going to go for the upgrade. And now 4v5. This is going to get very difficult. Bearing in mind, God B only on that 5-7.
Now, with this early advantage, SK can build off that. Or at least they should. God B has been pretty damn good in this apps area, constantly flashing, constantly keeping them guessing, making balcony a real no-go for the T side. Great pickup from Chris J as well. Cillian chose to challenge and did not thrive. As with 50 seconds left on the clock, SK are starting to claw this one back. Config providing the necessary frag. As Chris J brings him down with an inch of his life. 20 points of health left for him. And the bomb in the hands of Sandon, they still aren't sure where they want to go.
If they can get this pick onto Chris J, it will open the floodgate, but it's not happening. He's not allowing it. Single-handedly playing it to the clock, goes back around, expecting someone to be pushing CT Arch, and there they were. Now 2v2. Bearing in mind, Chris J is up against two players very low. 27 HP between the two of them. Against Chris J on 46. So a lot more to work with. And Chris J, again, timing is exactly what he's just working out here. Around the back now already. The bomb should be going down. 2v2 though. Will he go for this alone, or is he going to wait for Dennis to come over towards the site?
So smart smoke as well. That's actually going to cover up and limit Chris J's options. I say that. Chris J always perfectly lingering on the other side of the smoke. They are quite literally next to each other within a cat's whisker. Is a very old-fashioned expression.
But Freeze got behind him. Dennis has shown his hand here. Freeze has the opportunity. He's seen both of them. He takes down one. He gets killed in the end by Dennis, but time is of the essence, and I think Dennis has this one in the bag. There we go. He has got the defuse, and that could have been perfect, but maybe shooting a little early, then giving away the game.
Dennis was really quick as well to pick up that frag. If it was a fraction longer, he would have been able to escape, and time would have been against him. So real credit where it is due. Dennis ensuring that round survival for mousesports, and we're going to be seeing 15 then on the board. It was actually around this scoreline last time where Hellraisers started mounting some insane comeback over on Cobble. Mousesports struggled to close out, did eventually, but the scoreline got a little steeper than they would have liked. And let's see if the same can be said about this one. As SK, they do have rifles, and they do have nades.
Yeah, but look at Chris J. He had the front spawn there. He's used it as well, but they're already up in second mid. He could have been called out. That's a little risky from him, but backs away. Let's see if he can be just as useful with the AWP now as he was previously with that rifle not too long ago.
So, Nico going a little aggressive down Banana. We saw a quick glimpse of him pushed up to sandbags, but he's not going to be challenged out just yet. Config's the one that's really considering seizing control of apps, but we know what God B's been doing. I was saying it just beforehand that God B has really, really made it a scary feat to try and push through. It's Chris J again. 2 flashes and a smoke invested into locking him out.
Considering there's a 4-man stack here as well from Mouse. They've only left one player towards B, which is going to be Nico. Now Nico can be a name star unto himself, but he's going to be challenged down by 3 players very, very soon. They're all lining up here. Chris J's holding the arch. It looks like a split maybe, trying to wrap around towards B, but there's 2 moments here. One of them is going to be Nico. He has to hold on to this. They're just behind that smoke. That will flash them as well. There we go. That slowed them down even further. Chris J does find out one part of this attack. That's Sicilian. They're going to surely know this is a wrap here. Dennis already watching that arch. Nico holding them back perfectly. Sicilian finds him. Will they rotate? They have to. They've made the opportunity.
This is going to be the one waiting for the player on B, but in the meantime, Cillian does get a good feel for where at least these CTs are positioned. 2 of them, in fact, in pit. They're about to be hunted down like dogs, but it's Sandon who finally does neutralize that threat, or at least a bit of it, because God B is still present, and that nade's going to bring him incredibly low. Cillian gets him one better. It's now all onto Nico. Config and Cillian desperately trying to hold on these angles. Nico 2 frags away from picking up the win for his team. Smoke's not going to delay him, neither is that flash, as he does actually just duck back into the safety of that smoke for a second. Cillian gets it, and SK managed to keep themselves afloat just narrowly with 2 players still alive.
That got a little dangerous though.
Where's the player?
Yeah, I think they just lost out.
Arcadian.
He'll be back with us, I can imagine. But yeah, that was very, very dangerous. If they'd committed towards that B play, I hate to say it, but I feel that Nico would have probably pulled that off. But now, economy-wise, mousesports unable to really buy into this round. Here we go. There's Cadian.
I was worried sick. Welcome back, Cadian.
So yeah, they can't buy into this one. And actually, the T side has a fairly decent economy building up. Of course, Freeze is a little strapped for cash. He has been on the AWP the whole time through, so a little bit lighter for money. But still, 15-8 so far. Mousesports are still on match point. That's the point here. It's going to be a tough one for them to truly take all the way through.
Yeah, just going to be Godby and his Wonder Zeus, as it's going to be a very, very scary SK buy for what they are bringing into the mix. I think that the SK are well and truly aware of what mousesports are bringing on here, and it's going to be too easy as Astillion does start off the fragging.
Yeah, he's already going to find Chris J super easy. Chris J just looking for a nice close angle there as Godby, as you said, the one with the Zeus sitting close in library, hoping maybe for a wrap to come around or some presence with CT Arch. But this should be very, very, very easy for SK, and actually keeping control of this, not losing out on players, which is very important. And they've even left the bomb all the way back in spawn. They just didn't want to be caught out here.
Now, I mean, I'm just hungry for a Zeus frag, Godby. And so is he with his double. Yeah, he's got his levitating Zeus. It's actually the rarest type. It's actually a Zeus skin.
The floating skin.
Floating Zeus, yeah, very, very rare. But look at this. Oh my god, look at that map. That's scary. All 5 SK members are swarming on towards Nex's location, and he's going to do his very best to make a dent. Does so, and he finds the head of Cadian before it all ends a little too soon. And now just the 5-7 and Zeus for Godby to take down 4. He's a dreamer.
He might be able to get a gun away though. He's in a really good spot here.
If they kind of push...
Did Freeze hear him? I'm not sure. No Zeus for Godby. Alright, SK lose 1 player, get the bomb plant, keep the rifles up. They're good in this one. Nice little round from them, not losing too many players. But then again now, Mouse have a little bit more money, but probably not going to go for this one yet. So just a couple of pistols here and there. But they will be going for a little bit of armor between them and a couple of smokes to buy some time, bring the SK boys a little closer. But SK should be able to, once again, convert this round. This should be theirs.
Yeah, it certainly should be, and this would put them into double digits, making it much more respectable, that's for certain. SK definitely found some form. Stack up on towards Banana, may very well be greeted by a Molotov or 2. In fact, 2 of them are going to lock them out. They have to fight now. It's no decision. It's been made for Nico, as he is going to be trying to keep them at bay. Another smoke threat goes out, and has actually done a fantastic job with the equipment he's been given to keep SK away from B.
Yeah, and he's the only one with a kit as well, so he does really want to stay alive in this one as much as possible, but I'm surprised no nades or anything else had actually hit him there. He just somehow avoided it all. Now, has allowed this 4-man stack from Mouse to actually pay off towards A, and SK could run into a little bit of trouble here. Next is flashed up, though. That should be the opener. There you go, Cadian's going to find it, and SK start at least showing some presence there. Freeze went ahead, and Astillion backed away with the bomb. It's going to give a little bit of time for mousesports to get some shots in, but none connecting. Freeze will break in. And now it's Dennis tucked on the side with Chris J, looking to find something, but having no luck. But, oh, Dennis with the sneaky play, comes out, gets one, but that's it. And now Nico, all on his own.
Now, that's going to be the 10. That's going to be 10 for SK. And is this going to be the same story that we were told over on Cobble, where we began to see things going horribly wrong for Mouse, and then a flurry of frags from Godby actually was the linchpin into the 16th. Nico could actually find an AK here, because there's a whole lot of players on towards that balcony area, and Astillion's damn low, but I don't think he's got the opportunity to push around that corner. Oh, another one's low! He's gone and done it! He's taken Sandan out of the equation, expecting a flash, nothing's going to come, and it actually could be a second! Oh, wow, he paints a circle around him. And Astillion is just about going to get out of dodge. No, he's not! God damn, it must have been close. And that's going to be a whole lot of money now. Look at that. 2 players in the 10k region. And SK, they've got a good shot at closing this gap even further.
Yeah, they do. They can bring this one back. I think we do, as we said, we didn't get to see much of their T-side against Nip. That was kind of done and dusted super early. So finally get to see what they're made of here. Freeze really having quite a moment and dealing with them well. And Chris J going for the AWP though. This is what closed out the last game, bearing in mind. Chris J finally allowed the AWP. Let's see if that's going to be a factor. I don't know if it will be. They don't have much to work with in the way of smokes or nades. It's pretty bare for the CT side, but Nico again having to weather the storm out. Banana and Dennis coming back around towards A.
Freeze has actually got his aim trained on Chris J's location as well, if he chose to extend any further. But no, smart play from Chris J. Just backing away and playing it smart. This shows that there is a lot of restraint on the mousesports side at this point. They know they can't afford to let too many more slip away before we get into drawing territory. Oh,
Chris J, is this the option? There it is. Cadian goes down again, this man. So defining towards Mouse's play.
So, to try and build off the back of that one. It's going to be Nex who starts fragging as well. Now just 3 members of SK remain before it is most definitely the end. And Nex is actually making it a little too certain at this point. Sandon and Config, just as we started to speculate a little further. And Mouse saved the day once again. I say Mouse, I should say Nex, as he picked up 2 crucial frags alongside Chris J's opener. And now Sandon looking to make it respectable. Does take down Dennis. And with 30 seconds left, the T side, it's looking super
Now
unlikely.
Nico.
Sandon, what?
That was huge, and next now gets taken down. SK, player by player, taking out mousesports. Mousesports playing sloppy here, playing a little lackluster, and actually they've sold that B so
40
well.
seconds.
Config is already there, but God B can stop this. He can stop the bomb, but no! Sandon gets it on the cross. 9 seconds to make it there. This is a plan that's going to come in. And now Chris J 1v2. Sandon and Config. Perfect play. Chris J's on the wrong side, and he wants to keep that up. mousesports thought they'd won that one. They thought they had that round in the bag. There's a lag clearly coming in there, but hopefully that's get a little bit of resolution towards it. But Sandon and Config, that round was brilliant.
Great to see Sandon fragging. Actually, he's one of been my standout individual from SK in all of the performances I've seen so far. I mean, you know, remember that TSM game? He was the only one in double digits. He was the one playing long, doing great stuff there, getting entry frags on that T side. Now he's gone and got 3 frags that he really should not have been allowed to get, but just sheer performance from him has managed to net SK Gaming another round. Chris J is going to be keeping the AWP, and they're going to get away with just about an AWP for themselves. Sandon actually going down in that one. Tried to keep himself safe in pit, but actually planted so damn close to pit that there was no way he was going to be surviving.
So, 15-11. How much money do Mouse have? Not a great deal, enough to forge something together. Deagle, 5-7, couple of nades, not a lot of armor. They don't want to put too much into this, but Chris J does still have the AWP. Next is there with him. Let's see what he can do. All right, aggressive peek comes out already. Does manage to take down Freeze, and look at this. Next straight away, going to be able to single out one on towards Banana if Nico joins him here. And there we go, Nico with a 1D. Sandon goes down. Player by player falling here for SK. This could be devastating, and oh my god, next catching off Cadian. Godby finds a Cillian. What on earth has happened here? Mal's just stepping the hell up, and Config even shaking his mouse going, what the hell just happened?
They knew that Mouse's economy was shot. They assumed it was a round in the bag, and that's actually come back to haunt them actually at this point. Now all on to Config with, I mean, he's got a full set of nades, and that's about all he's got going for him at this point, as the rest of his team has been toppled. There's a next training on his location. He's going to get the final frag, and Mouse have done it. That's going to be the victory then for Mouse. Again, keeping it a little bit close, as they have seemed to find a little bit of a trend, getting 15 then. Letting the enemy get a little bit closer than they maybe would have liked. But again, as we said, that's all stuff that Godby can take a look at after today's games. Yeah,
and I'm curious to see what they actually make off the back of that game, how they felt they played. And as you said at the end, a couple of issues becoming a little bit apparent, but they pull it back in even on the rounds they shouldn't do, when they literally don't have guns to work with. So clearly, Mousesports doing well today. Good to see them picking up the victories here. Sadly for SK, a bit of a tough one.
Yeah, so I mean, just a recap on what we did experience today. Of course, if you did miss it, the VODs are available both on Twitch and over on YouTube as well, which is just youtube.com/ESL. Started with the Danish blockbuster, or at least it could have been. Not going to happen this time. 16-4 was the final score, and TSM just ran rampant around SK.
Yeah, following that by another bit of a beating black and blue, Nip took charge of that one and just ran all over SK. Another very tough match, but at least they had a real respite into the third match.
Yeah, for sure. Mousesports demonstrating that they were not going to start as poorly as they did in Season 1. 16-11 victory over Hellraisers. It doesn't tell the whole story as well, considering just how effective they were over on their CT side.
And of course, in case you've just been somewhere in the last 30 seconds, 16-11 was the closing scoreline. Mousesports picking up over SK. SK giving us a little bit more of a display than we saw in their earlier games, but still a little bit shaky in comparison.
Yeah, so EU has ended for today. And of course, there is the NA side of things as well. We've got 4 more games that will be kicking off around 2 CET, so the time right now. So that is in, hang on, what time is it now? It's about 3 hours. Yeah, 3 hours, 2 hours 45. We will be kicking off again with the NA side of things. I can tell you what the Rockgate teams we're going to be seeing. We're going to see some Liquid in there, Conquest up against a Lunatic as well. Yeah. So lots of matchups to look forward to, and you should most definitely stay tuned for that one if your sleeping pattern is as ruined as mine.
Yep,
so do be sure to head over to that Twitch channel, and we'll be there as well. So we hope to see you in about 2 hours 45 minutes. Yeah. Sounds like a plan. Of course, tomorrow there is more Pro League CS. We're just going to be giving you so much CS over this week, and we've got some real matches coming up.
Yeah, these are the big games. Look at this. You got Fnatic against Nip. That's a big challenge. Can Nip's style keep up? Does it really work against Fnatic, or will that be where the buck stops? That's a big question. Again, Hellraiser's showing potential, but you're against Fnatic, and pretty much everyone's under the pressure. But the final game of the day, to exclude the French showdown as well, which is the third, another big hitter, it's TSM against Fnatic. What a brilliant match that's going to be. Finally a chance for revenge for Fnatic over TSM.
And on Train, no less. A map that TSM, you know, we recently had trouble with, despite it being a map that they had really telling stats suggesting that they did have a comfortable map, a comfortable train map. So, a comfortable train map. Like the London
Alex.
Underground map.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready for bed.
I think it's time
I got tucked in and had a nap. So we are going to go ahead and have a little nap before the NA side kicks off in about 2 hours 45. Lauren needs to stop laughing at me because I am struggling as it's time for us to say goodbye. We hope to see you guys soon for the NA Pro League.